Test. Hello friends and welcome. Today we are going to talk through a Marci game I played, kind of my own replay analysis to improve, but also explain what I'm doing to you all. You might be wondering, why aren't we using a pro replay instead from TI? It's because pros are too good. So I think a big strength of Marci is this dispose in the laning stage. Many people's positions are no good. You can get a good start from the laning stage, then scale really well with the sidekick and the ult. Kind of covered a basic build in the last video that supports Spotlight. Check that out if you haven't already. But pros are too good. Pros don't go out of position the same way. Marci's still a great hero, and that's why people are still picking it at the pro level. But the way you can abuse it in pubs is a little different than pro games. So even through all the pro games I watched yesterday, I couldn't find full examples of everything I want to talk about. So we're just going to use one of mine. I think this is easier for you all to kind of copy in your own pubs than trying to do what the pros do. So this game, we are against a Pudge and a Crystal Maiden, maybe a little different than usual, but kind of the same concepts as if it was just like a melee carry. So here I am in the mid lane positioning in case anyone comes up to do the little ward trick where you can like stand right here. And if your team has a ward here, the tower will attack. So I'm waiting here in case anyone pops in and I can grab. You'll notice I haven't picked up a skill yet just to... I default kind of want rebound, but I mean, if someone's going to walk in, I'm going to dispose them. So I see this Invoker kind of waiting in this area, and then Invoker walked up, so I picked dispose and ran in. But unfortunately, you can see on the minimap, they actually also had an observer down and spotted me. This is just kind of like luck of the draw. They placed this without me seeing, so I kind of went for it. In a way, kind of revealed that I also saw him coming, or, you know, it's by chance. So it didn't quite work out, and then I was stuck with dispose, which is not actually what I wanted. I actually wanted rebound in case Pudge hooked me in the laning stage, so I could get out safely. But mistakes were made, so I just had to play a little carefully and decide to block the small camp, kind of positioning, waiting for Crystal Maiden to walk in like this way, and then I was going to pull her back over here so that Quap and I could hit her for a little bit. Once I saw Pudge here, though, I didn't want to get hooked, so I think I just fall back. Decided to block the small camp because I want to keep playing this lane. We have a Quap versus Pudge, so I feel that Quap can do a lot of harassing, and Crystal Maiden will like be able to do some counter harass. I'm going to try to tank that as the melee hero, kind of draw some attention to myself, just don't get hooked. I was going to buy more regen after this, and then once I have 2 levels, I feel that if Crystal Maiden tries to respond to Quap, I can initiate on Crystal Maiden and we can kill Crystal Maiden. So I don't want us to have to leave too much. That's why I blocked that camp. I think this lane will like go overall well for us. So right now I'm just kind of like punching my own creeps. Kind of got lucky there that I didn't get hit. Going for some denies, trying to like keep the lane overall. Pretending to body block right here. So it's 50 seconds. I pretended to like start moving this way, but I didn't actually need to. So now I'm just standing out of sight, seeing if any of them will go out of position. And I'm kind of hoping that Crystal Maiden will think like, oh, maybe I'm blocking and have to go over and check, or she's coming over to block here. So that's why I'm still waiting out of sight for something like this. So now Pudge is on his own. He thinks he is 1v1 versus Queen of Pain. So now I run in to come grab him. He wanted to go for this deny, which if it was just one-on-one would have been okay. But now I see this creep is about to die, which means all these creeps are going to look for a new target. And I don't see Crystal Maiden anywhere near. Like, let's pretend she's in the fog of war. It still means she's only like here or here. So it's still going to take her time to join in the fight. So this is a great time to dispose. Even if Quap hadn't just got that last hit, my dispose would have killed that creep. And so now we have 4 creeps and 2 heroes hitting this Pudge. This is essentially a 3-on-1. And so Pudge has no choice but just to run. So I stopped to auto attack. I should have just been body blocking the whole time. So there you see we pretty much got half his health for free. At the end, Crystal Maiden finally comes in Crystal Novas. But up to that point, we had an incredible trade. And part of that is just identifying that one creep was dying. He went out of position a little bit because he thought I was blocking camps and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff you want to look for when you're playing Marci. You know, like toss them into the camps and everything like that. Here I'm also looking for trade. And I was going to do something similar that I was waiting for at the start. Crystal Maiden over here, kind of toss her towards the lane between me and Quap. But let's look at the creeps again. So in the other case where I just fought Pudge, our creeps were moving in and there was only one creep about to die. And that's why it was like a good time for me to start a fight. It's very important right here to recognize, okay, there's actually 4 enemy creeps and only one of ours. If we get into a fight right now, it's actually not very good because these creeps are going to aggro to us if we end up fighting in this area, and that's not going to be great for us. Our creeps are still down here, so it's still going to take, I don't know, like 5-7 seconds for them to join the fight. So I was thinking about disposing here, but then realized, you know what, this is not the time, and I'm just going to like run away. Because actually, do I even need to fight? Not really. Like, we're in a good spot, lane equilibrium-wise. Like, this is 4 enemy creeps, but it's not even the right wave, you know? This is the enemy wave that's supposed to meet this wave. So we are in a very good spot here, so I don't need to fight. Like, we're just going to go for last hits in a safe spot. I want to hit this level 2. And then the only thing I need to worry about are these pulls. And we block the small camp, so I just have to think about this hard camp pull that Crystal Maiden might do. So here she is, giving that shot. I actually should have been probably a little closer already. And then here, I'm just going to, if you don't know, they will respond to aggro like this. So I issue an attack command on Pudge, and that's just going to draw all of them to me. Even though I didn't actually attack any of them, I did the aggro trick on Pudge. So I'm just going to stop this pull. I don't really need to do my own. Camped anyways. And then here, we're just going to go back for denies. So I punched this creep to get it low, because these creeps, the enemy creeps, are focusing this creep. So I'm getting 2 creeps down to like low health, which means Pudge, you know, he can't auto attack twice at once. So we are going to probably get a deny here. Crystal Maiden could nuke, but then like Crystal Maiden's getting the last hits, which is still good for their team, I would argue. But I think many pub players, it feels wrong, right? To take 2 last hits from the carry, they're going to feel a little annoyed. So kind of priming all these creeps to get low at the same time. And then I actually managed to get a couple denies at once. Then another case of positioning. Pudge thought this is a good time to fight with, you know, a lot of enemy creeps coming in. And in that sense, he's right. Against most heroes, this would be a really good time to fight. But I have dispos. Now, I actually meant to take rebound, and we're getting several good fights here off of dispos. So it actually worked out that I took dispos. But this can happen a lot at level 2. I see it all the time. And even if I die here, I'm throwing Pudge into the tower, and he's going to get hit for at least a couple shots, right? Now, we're level 1. That is why it's like technically a good time to fight. Against anyone else, it would have been good. But now he's here in the tower. I was going to try to like body block at first, but then I realized like maybe with the tower we could kill him first. I do end up falling, but Pudge died first. And even if I died first, but Pudge died, I'd still say that's pretty good for us. So, there you go. People make this kind of mistake all the time in pubs. This is why 5 Marci also works. The off lane just walks too close to the tower, and you kind of toss him into your own safe lane tower. It's not as good anymore, but still kind of works for pubs. So, based off what's happened so far, we've been taking a lot of good fights, so I want to keep that going. I buy more regen. I don't really feel like I need more. I guess an Oov could have been okay, but I feel that when I throw people and engage and then Quap slow, like I think they're slowed enough. So I just need to be healthy enough, and I need my Quap to be healthy enough. So I got some tangos to come share to her, and I want to get rebound and pretend I wasn't here in case anyone would come out of position again. Here's another one. So I see Crystal Maiden unblocking, so I know she's still over there. And then I see Pudge here. There's no real reason to be here because these are the creeps. These creeps are going to meet to be about where he is right now. If he was going to do anything, it should be like over here to prevent me from walking in here to stop Crystal Maiden doing whatever. Plus, he would be close to Crystal Maiden. So this is just out of position, really. He's just here too soon. And against most heroes, I know I've said this a couple times, but like, this wouldn't really be an issue, right? But against Marci, who comes with the rebound and the dispos, this is potentially out of position. So as I see him walking forward, I know that we can do this. There's the stun. Throw him back. All our creeps hitting him. So they're soon to be distracted by these other creeps. But for now, they're going to hit Pudge probably once or twice. So all free damage for me. Crystal Maiden is still coming in to help. So don't actually kill him, right? But we do get a free like 300 damage, and he can't really do much in response. And once my combo's up again, this is now like low enough, right? And then Quap Dagger still going, you know, so we're kind of like burning through regen. I see Crystal Maiden constantly going into the jungle too. So next time she goes, or like these are always opportunities you can look for. When they are trying to do pulls, sometimes you can contest, and other times you can just try to kill the carry. So carries like Anti-Mage, Weaver, those kind of heroes, they're harder to kill on their own. They come with their own escape. Some are just really strong, like Juggernaut, he could spin and walk away. So sometimes you can't do it, and it's hard. Pudge, some heroes like kind of like Spectre. Who else? I don't know, just like Drow, right? These are carries who aren't so good on their own. So if the support has to do a lot of pulls, you can choose to just try to like kill that carry. And Pudge can be strong on his own, but right now, because of some bad trades, like I think we're stronger. So I do see her pulling. I don't really want her to mess up equilibrium too much. I'm happy when it's near our tower. So I'm standing here to draw aggro, trying to... I was a little scared that Pudge is going to hook me. So they do go on the pull. But then because all their creeps are gone, I see this as an opportunity. Okay, guess what? We have 3 creeps again to their potentially no creeps. This one's kind of following me, so it's like 3-1. But Pudge is also about half health. So again, this is a good time to fight. I decided to rebound in because rebound would have killed that last creep if he hadn't just done it. We're going to stun him and hit him. I walked behind him to attack. Now that I look at it, I didn't have to do that. I could just attack him because he has to run away. And once he runs away, then I'll throw him back. I kind of wasted some potential damage by purposely moving myself away from his path of retreat. This would have been possible anyways, right? But whatever, it kind of works out anyway. So he's like slowed, he's surrounded by creeps, and we're just able to like punch him down. So these are kind of opportunities you can look for when the enemies do pulls. Usually you don't want the enemies to do pulls, but a lot of things in Dota have pros and cons, right? So pulling like this did fix equilibrium, but there's a moment where your team is in danger. So if you keep an eye out for those for Marci, you can really abuse some of these. Here's another one. So Pudge is dead. He'll be coming back soon. But in the meantime, here's a Crystal Maiden. She's at like half health. And you can reposition like this. I went a little too far. Should have been outside the tower on this side, but I kind of wanted to make sure, you know, like if she started running and I missed the stun, I would feel like an idiot, you know? So I have enough health to tank the tower for a little bit. And even though Pudge is TPing in, we have like 3 seconds to do this. I should have used this sidekick a little sooner. Maybe we would have killed that Crystal Maiden 1 second faster. So I think there's actually a mistake by Pudge. I actually thought I was dead as well. I actually thought it was a mistake to go on that Crystal Maiden. In hindsight, if I had sidekick sooner, I think it would have worked out. Pudge actually, I think, can run me down here and kill me with Rot, or just get a really good trade in. But kind of just lets me go. So we'll take that. He would have killed all my creeps with Rot as he's chasing me, and then he would have had more creeps than me. So here I'm just getting XP, and then I'm coming over to block the camp again. Because even though it's spawned now, I don't really want them to keep using it. You've seen like playing the lane has been going really well for me. So I kind of just want to keep that going. Grab the rune, take the time to ward. I was checking mid to see if it's something I can do. Kind of looked like something. Then I was like, maybe if he astrals, I can jump in. But because it was kind of under their tower, this looked kind of tough. You know, I don't have move speed. I don't have a smoke. So, like, I'd have to walk in here. Now, I didn't know he had an observer, but, like, Invoker just standing here in the daytime sees pretty far, you know? So you'd have a lot of time to react. And although we have Astral, I didn't know if I could, like, really cross that distance in time to do it. So we were getting kills top, and I decided I'd just come back up here. Maybe I could have stayed mid, but it would have been kind of iffy, I feel like. And I see Pudge again, getting half health. So this is what I mean when I thought we had like a good matchup. Because we have a ranged versus melee, she can always whittle him down, and then I can come in to initiate. In the video, I talked about having mangoes and clarity, stuff like that. Clarity's in the laning stage, not as good. Once you start roaming, it can be better, so that, you know, as you go for these runes and consider mid, you can have the clarity going. But as long as you're playing the lane, I think mangoes are really good, 1 or 2. Because your spells aren't that expensive, but you do have to use multiple spells at once. So here I'm able to mango, and then a mango, right? Yeah, I mango. And I should have magic wanded and used sidekick sooner. I thought this would be enough. He's tankier than I thought. This Pudge hero is kind of whack. We've killed him a couple times. He's still over 1,000 health, right? So in hindsight, I should have sidekicked a lot sooner, and then this kill would have been faster. It ends up being pretty close. He almost gets away and actually could have been denied here. They were trying for it, but Quat manages to pick it up. So if I had sidekicked, that would have been a much cleaner kill. Get that kill, and then I decided to just go home. No, never mind. I had a clarity on the way. I think that could have been a good time to go home, though. I've seen this in like pro games that I was watching. So it's like 5 minutes, right, after that kill. So you walk home. You probably get back around 5:30. You TP mid, refill their bottle, and then you help with a 6-minute rune. In this case, looks like I had the clarity come out to me. So I don't really need to go back anymore. So I'm just going to like directly head over to the runes. I see the water rune, so I can take that for myself. Try to gank this Invoker. And also just like consider the 6-minute setup. Pudge is still dead, so I'm not really needed top. We could try to kill Crystal Maiden again, but I just popped this clarity. So I kind of needed to, I didn't want to, you know, burn through it too quickly. I can't really go on the Crystal Maiden if I don't have enough mana. Here, I use Smoke because I want to come gank this Invoker. Last time, we were like over here, and I said it was hard. This time, we're over here, so it's a little easier. It's nighttime. I still smoke just to be safe in case he has an Observer. Thinking about it now, actually, I saw him lose his mid-Observer here. So actually, he really shouldn't have anything. Actually, let's just double check. Yeah, he doesn't have anything, so in hindsight, I didn't really need to smoke. Could have just walked in, saved that smoke. But since I had already like dedicated some time walking over, that's kind of why I did it. Now that I look at it, probably didn't need to. Got Invisible Hero here. I think I'm going to wait for him to Astral. Actually, looking at it now, I didn't realize he had so little mana. So maybe this isn't the best time to do it. I'm able to get real close to that smoke, speed boost, and just attack a little bit. It's not the best. I don't know if I like expected to kill him here, but we were just kind of harassing him, get some damage in for 6 minutes. If I'd realized he had so little mana, actually, it probably is a kill if he had mana. I mean, that's not a flame. It's just me not recognizing what my mid laner had. So I think I was telling him go bottom, but then actually he's just going for it. So, you know, free kill, right? He didn't want this, so I took it. And then for a minute, I was thinking about going back top. Then I looked at bottom, and I decided to go bottom instead. Now, usually I don't recommend you all do this, especially as the 4 support. I usually say things like, this is the wrong part of the map. You know, you don't want to waste too much time walking from top to bottom and then playing here. But that's not what I did exactly, right? I went mid, got a kill, happened to take the bottom rune. Now, I could go back top here. But at this point, I am kind of close to bottom. I'm actually closer to bottom than top. So I thought here, you know what? I've got this Arcane rune. I have one top. We just got to kill mid. The greatest thing I could do is now positively impact bottom and not play here too long, but get a gank in, and then I can just TP away or walk home and TP out again or something. So I picked up another clarity, pop it, run bottom. 2 melees for a Slark, happened to pick up 2 bounty runes. That alone made it worth it, but I didn't know those were there for my team. And yeah, just go for this Slardar here. Okay, I swear, I lagged here as I was playing. So I kind of just do nothing and then don't dispose him fast enough or use sidekick. So then he he just kind of gets away. He might have gotten away anyways. Even if I dispose him, he might have still like used crush and then ran away. But I swear I lagged, guys. You've seen it. If you've watched the streams, you've seen I've been going through some like brief disconnects. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to figure that out. I stuck around because we did get him to half at least, and I thought, you know, maybe he'll come out of position. And this is what I'm talking about. In pro games, he would not do this. He would know this deny, this last hit, he would have done like creep aggro to pull it back because he just saw me down here. He would not come out so far where this can happen. But in your pubs, all the time. You've seen me like get this kind of jump in every lane already. So, comes out, stun him, pull him back. This time, actually sidekick, not lagging now. And then we just finish up the kill. And now I can TP top. So I decided to get out of sight and then TP up here to surprise them because they would have just seen me bottom and they think, oh, we're safe, you know, we can do whatever. I actually don't have my abilities right now, but this could be a really good time to gank. You see, it's pushing in, so I didn't want Queen of Pain to get killed. And because it's so close to our tower, I might be able to do something and like throw him into the tower, stuff like that. So I TP'd up here. but then realized, you know, I can't actually do too much right now. And once they kind of like backed off, I, now looking at this, should have also backed off to give Queen of Pain solo XP. She's close to 6, so I'm very highly leveled as a support. This is not usually how strong you are, but we've gotten kills everywhere. So I should have like moved this way to give her solo XP. Maybe walk up here. It's a little dangerous because I don't know exactly where Pudge and CM are, but I should have tried to give her solo XP. Get 6, and then that would have been a power spike. Both of us at level 5, like close to 6, that doesn't change anything. But Queen of Pain with 6, like look, if I hadn't taken like half her XP, she would be 6, and we could just go. So that was a mistake on my part, and I realize that now, so that's why I'm now standing back to give her this full wave up here. I saw Crystal Maiden over here, and I said in the game, I said, if you see Pudge, literally just go at him, because he'll be on his own. And how do I know that? Because I know Slardar's here, I see Invoker here, and I see Crystal Maiden in the jungle. So this ward I placed earlier, which I don't always place here, sometimes I place like somewhere around here, but I do try to place a deep ward to spot opportunities like this, so you know. Because otherwise, maybe I see Pudge, but I'm just not sure I can do it because I don't know if Crystal Maiden's there. So it's like, I don't know. But if I know he's on his own, then for sure, a 2v1 will be fine in this game anyway. Sometimes it's not, but I know it will be fine. So that's actually what I'm doing. I'm looking for Pudge because I know Queen of Pain can blink over to me. So I'm just looking to see if he was like farming the camp. And then he happens to pop out. So I was like, oh, nice. There we go. So... yeah, found him, stunned him, almost fed for this. Queen of Pain ends up using her ult. I would have been okay dying so long as she killed him, but also happy to live. So at this point, I just walked back because, you know, really low health. Sidekick does have lifesteal, but you don't actually do enough damage to really heal up to full. So this is a good time to go back and then like potentially TP somewhere else. I won't actually cover this whole game because you can kind of tell it's a bit of a stomp right now. And it's actually just going to get worse. But I wanted to talk through at least the early game because I think that's when Marci has a ton of potential in pubs. So after walking home, I decided to go mid because OD just died. So I make it here in time for the creep wave. And then I can TP either top or bottom depending what I'm needed. Or maybe OD TP's back and we go smoke somewhere. I think at this time, actually, OD was even talking about like... This is very unusual, so it doesn't usually happen. But like you can see the tier 2 is almost dead. So I think he was asking me to just escort him over here and just play with him to get that tower. So very happy with that. You know, I'll take this XP, get 6. Unusual. You're not usually this high leveled as a support, but you usually do need this kind of XP when your mid is doing something else. So, you know, if I was level 3 trying to get level 4 or level 4 trying to get level 5, you would still want to do something like this. The fact that I'm 6 is just even better for me. I'm going to use the gold to, you know, pick up my items. Trying to keep an eye on the minimap. This is a bit of a weak point on my part. I'm not great at last hitting, so I'm kind of like hyper-focused on that. But that's something you should be doing as a support, kind of like check the other lanes. So now, while OD is starting to push, I did see 2 bottom, 2 top. So I feel pretty confident to come in here, and I want to place a sentry. I saw Crystal Maiden here earlier. So there could have been a ward somewhere around here. I wanted to check this cliff at least. This is a very common spot to use, especially now that they lost their tier 1 tower. And then this spot is the new one since the map changes. This is also pretty good. It's unlikely. People don't usually put things in their own jungle at this stage of the game, like in this area. So I wasn't as worried about those. This entrance is where I thought it would be. So that's why I put the sentry over there. And then I had another observer. I end up placing it here, but actually, now that I think about it, it wasn't really required since this tower was so low. I guess it's okay, but I think maybe in their triangle or maybe up here, maybe like this spot could have been a little better because we're more likely to play in that area than back here right now. So, and I think we were talking, saying like once we do that, let's go bottom. So that's what this is. I don't think he was even going for me, but unfortunately he stunned me before I could get the rest off. Because I'm so strong, I can like use all this stuff. I actually probably should have gone for Invoker rather than the Treant. But I still feel really strong even though I'm, you know, kind of low. But I have my ult still going and I have Sidekick soon. So here we get the Invoker. Because we're all here. So this is where if I had saved this observer ward, I could probably go place it in their triangle right now that we picked up 2 kills, and I know Treant's like somewhere back here. I see Pudge here. I see Crystal Maiden here. There's, no one's going to be here. Very safe for me to just walk in. Thinking about where they might have placed observers, here or here is very common. So I can kind of go in this path through this area, and I won't be spotted by anything. And then like place the observer in this area. They could have an observer out here, but that's a little uncommon as well. I'd say it's more common to be back here, in which case they would know I'm here with an observer, in theory, but I'll disappear for a while, and then they won't exactly know where. Maybe they piece it together, but I could have done that if I still had my observer. Now, my team ended up... OD wanted to push towers, like these tier 2s, a little more than I did. I wanted us to reposition to the top half and set up for Roshan eventually with my ult and sidekick, and then OD's not too bad at it. And if we have Dazzle like throwing out some spells, I think we can do it fairly early if we get a kill or 2. But it is still pretty early, so actually I was kind of okay pushing tier 2 towers. I still would have preferred to go through like the top rather than down here. Because if you think about it, Pudge is actually pretty good at farming all the jungle camps here. And even though Ancients are like, worth the most, Ancient farmers, all that, if you look at their team, they're actually not the best at doing Ancients. So I'm actually okay letting them have this because I think this is actually easier for them to farm right now. So I wanted to take this part away from them, make them deal with Ancients, and if we see a lot of them go bottom, we could then potentially try Roche later. But I also think in pubs, you can't push your team too hard to do things they don't want to. So I still think this is like, a decent thing to do, play together, pressure towers. So that's why I did it. Here, we're feeding. I am 15 seconds from my ult. I talked a lot about how Marci is like a solo killer in my last video. It's with the ult. Without the ult, sidekick's not that great because you don't attack that fast. So me and Dazzle, not the strongest support duo, a bit of a miscommunication. We were feeling too good. Every lane is winning. We're taking all these towers. We're like, oh yeah, he's going to walk here. Let's go get him. And then he just kills both of us, actually. I forgot I had phase boots so early, so I forgot to use them till like the very end. And then, we both just kind of feed and give Pudge like some recovery gold. That was like over 700. So that was a huge mistake on our part. Probably the worst thing I did this game. Should have still just been playing with teammates. We just got like a little overconfident there. Gonna queue up the BKB. I guess it's a good time to talk about items. So I did talk about some of these in the video, but I got the wand because we were doing well in the laning stage, and then Pudge and CM have a lot of bursts, so I wanted more stats and charges. Same reason I got the raindrops to tank spells and like stay healthy, but it's also mana, so as I like roam around and put myself into danger, I have the mana, I have the magic block. Phase boots just good, and then Dust of Appearance in case we get a chance to kill Invoker. Now, because we're smashing them, I said it's not usually common to put wards here in this area, but because we're crushing them, that's why I put the sentry here. I think, they're starting to feel scared to move out, so they might start putting observers along here. This was a bit heavily overlapped with this one, but since we were pushing this tier 2 tower and it's full health, and a future objective is Roshan, I thought that, this could be good for several purposes, essentially. Even though it is a bit overlapping, I want us to be in this area for quite a while. So I want us to have vision superiority. So that's kind of why I went for it. And I'm just going to stay kind of like over here. Going to sidekick to do a little more damage. But just generally stay out of the way so that if she gets pudge hooked or something, I can come in and help. Just kind of staying up here, waiting for them to come in. So here's Treant, kill him, then use rebound to go for Slardar. I didn't ult here because I forgot that we already took their tier 2 mid tower. It's only 13, 14 minutes of the game. It doesn't usually happen. So I thought I saw Pudge here. I was like, I don't want to commit too much. I don't want us to get like pulled under the tower. I know we're doing well, but like, we shouldn't dive tier 2. And then I looked over and it's like, oh shit, we already took it. I forgot. So I think we can probably stop talking here. You can tell this is a very unusual game to have this much map progression by 14 minutes. But a lot of the concepts we talked about, I think, are some things you can look for in the laning stage. Those kind of ideal trades, the kind of like roams to look for. You can TP mid as well. You don't have to. In this case, I walked a couple times, but Marci TP mid rotations into the trees here or into the trees like here or here are very powerful because you can rebound, or as they walk in the low ground through river. And I think there is a clip of this in the last video. When the enemy walks through the river, they're on the low ground, so they can't see up here, so you can TP in close and rebound in. Especially if like both mid laners are running for a rune, you know, you TP in, and then you like beat them to the rune, for example. Stuff like that. So you're very good at rotating and helping out multiple lanes. And then you can do things like this, where you can use your ult and sidekick to take Roche. I actually probably should save sidekick for a couple seconds, take some damage, then use sidekick so I lifesteal up. So that's a mistake on my part. And then let other teammates probably tank up a little more. It kind of happened in the end, so it's okay. But yeah, sidekick and unleash, also very good for Roshan. I wouldn't use them to farm, but you can also use them for tower. So like objective taking or kills is what I would use unleash for, and the sidekick. I know it's got some AoE, but for farming it's not so worth it. Just use your like your rebound to do a little bit. But you're more like looking for kills and like playing farming in the lane versus like trying to farm the jungle. It's kind of tough. I wasn't gonna show up. I didn't need to here, but he was harder to kill than I thought. So yeah, I think we'll stop here. It's just gonna like snowball further and further. Actually, there is one more thing I want to talk about. This is not so much about Marci, but just about playing Dota in general. You can see we're 6k up right now. We're doing pretty well, and in most team fights, we're probably going to win. Our team versus their team in a direct heads-on fight, because our levels are better, our gold is better. However, I want to talk about a concept real quick that I actually talked about in the very first video I ever made for this channel. That is that there are like two kinds of power spikes, or like power levels of scaling that you need to consider. There is a dynamic one that is compared to the enemy team. So right now we are ahead of the enemy team. If we fight somewhere out here, we're probably going to win. Does that mean we can just end the game? No, because that's the second type of power scaling. There are objectives in the game that are just a certain strength. There are towers that have a certain amount of damage and armor. And then there's like Roshan, who does scale a little bit, but at some point you pass him and he never really passes you back, you know? So just because we're winning right now does not mean we can beat the enemy team in their base, because now it's no longer just us versus them, and we are ahead of them, the individual heroes, or like the team of heroes, but it is them plus the tier 3, maybe tier 4 base and creep spawning and like healing and then coming back. And that is this certain static power level that we have not yet passed. So in games like this, which you'll go through where you're stomping the enemy team and then you end up throwing, or you are a team that the enemy has like Spectre, Medusa, something like that, and you're like, oh, we can't go late, we have to end, you know, early. People get way too pressured and they try to end the game far too quickly, because even though they get a lead like we have right now and we are better than the enemy team, we are not necessarily strong enough to beat them, plus this static amount of power that we have not yet passed. Because you can see it, we're only like level 12, level whatever, right? And if they don't play, yeah, you can take it, but that's the old pub trick, right? GG and mid. Yeah, okay. So what you actually want to do is continue to take control of the map, right? If you want to play fast, still try to do things, but not necessarily break the base and the game, right? Don't let them farm, find them doing stuff like this, take objectives, farm through their half of the map, and try to keep them restricted in your base. Keep building up this gold lead, develop your levels and items so that you have what you need to then end the game, right? Now we're running at the next hero, all right? You're not allowed to farm mid. No, no, no. Here we are coming to kill you, right? Anytime you try to leave the base, we'll kill you. Set up your vision to see when they're leaving the base, and then kill them, right? So that way they start to feel scared. They start playing on their own half of the map. Our team was a little overconfident this game, so that's why, even though we're building up a lead, you'll actually notice they're kind of keeping up in some levels because we are feeding some kills, but we're also letting them sometimes farm a little bit too much, even as we try to like run around. Fortunately, in your games, people probably will not be as brave They're not as good as like splitting up, hiding in the trees, stuff like that. It's a little harder the higher up you go. But you can kind of see, right? A lot of us are hitting this tower. Oh, whoops, I went the wrong one, right? So here we are. Oh, we're ahead of the enemy team by 9k. And yet we're still just like a Slark with a Diffusal Blade and Power Treads, right? We're a Meteor Hammer OD, and we have creeps that haven't scaled up that far, because oftentimes by the time you're doing high ground, it's like 25, 35 minutes, right? The creeps have scaled up more at that point. So it's just harder to do this stuff. The enemy can still kill creeps with their nukes if they have them. This game, they actually didn't have that many. And we just straight up don't do that much tower damage, right? You've seen games with like scaled out cores, 6 slotted, they delete these towers. Here we are, full creep wave, 4 enemy heroes, and we're like slowly chipping this thing down. I know there's a treant, right? But this is kind of what I'm talking about. You can't just end the game because you're ahead of the enemy heroes. You have to also be strong enough to take objectives while beating the enemy heroes. And so that's why we are moving a bit too much as 4, and that's why they're catching up in farm, because they're splitting up while we're dividing all our farm between 4 people. But this is kind of the right idea, just not executed the best, where you don't want to let them farm, you want to continue farming, probably not run like 4 heroes, right? When you have a 9k lead, you can probably run like 3 heroes while 2 farm, that kind of thing. Set up a little bit better vision so that you see when they're coming out, and that way you know like where they are. You can easily decide who to go to. You can dodge the ganks that they try to do on your like solo heroes, stuff like that. Ultimately, we do end this game, but it's kind of what I'm talking about, right? It just takes a while. Don't push it too far. Don't think, oh, because we can kill the enemy hero out here, and we always win team fights here and here and here, now we can go back here and win fights, right? Oh, this is totally different. This is in their base. There's a lot of strong towers close to the healing. Like, don't dive too hard. This is where you throw the leap. So that's what I wanted to end this video on. It could probably be its own video, and maybe I'll do that in the future, but this seemed like a good place to throw that in. So we do take a little bit more time after this, but I think that'll be pretty much it. It'll be us continuing to do this kind of stuff. So thank you for watching. I hope that helped explain things to look for if you're playing Marci, and also, you know, just some general Dota stuff here at the end. Hope it helps. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video, which may be a little while away because I'm going to go to TI, and I don't think I'll really release videos in that time. So it might be a little bit, but I will be back. The channel is not dead. I will see you all in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.